you're a conservative, you're conservative socially, but fiscally conservative as well, you're really fucking me over every time you vote. I mean, honestly, you are.
Sure.
And so when there's lots of people like yourself who believe the way you believe, and I don't think all of you are horrible people, like you're all just really
Hmm.
truly evil, but I don't think that you understand. Sometimes some of them do, and they do it intentionally, but I think some of them do not understand the ramifications of what you're voting for and why you're voting for something against someone, what it means. For example, right now, fortunately, DOMA was overturned in this country. One part of it was. And as a result of that, those people, gay couples who are married and live in states where their marriage is recognized, they have all of the same rights that you, as a heterosexual man married to your wife, would have. These same
Hmm.
rights, okay? It's just a matter of paperwork right now, but it's all the same. It's going to happen. However, those of us who were married in a state that recognizes gay marriage and moves and live in another state that doesn't, like myself and my husband, we only have a portion of those rights because of the other part of DOMA. So as long as that's on the books, we are not equal. And so because of the way you're voting, it's causing us to undue harm. And how is it causing us to undue harm? Well, if he's ever in the hospital, especially in Texas, I can't necessarily visit him unless, even if I have the paperwork from a lawyer, the
Hmm.
hospital technically can still turn me away. And in terms of inheritance rights, if one of us dies, we have to pay half of our estate to the government.
Wow.
And taxes and filing taxes and joint filing. And there's a bazillion different rights, 1,100 rights that we don't get because of people like yourself who believe the way you believe and vote the way you vote. So I'm being as respectful as I can to you
Hmm.
that you have your belief system. And yet I don't understand why you would still vote that way when you know you're harming people in some way.
I haven't really been excited to vote in a long time. I'm waiting for someone because I don't really believe in voting against someone. I'm waiting for the right person to vote for, and I have not been excited for a long time.
Well,
And I have to be honest with you, I just haven't been. And I don't know if the next great leader is going to come around the next in the next few years, or as far as I know, he's still playing t-ball somewhere,
yeah.
and he's going to be available for us to vote for in the next 20 years. I don't know, but I think that the country's been going through some changes, and I think you've got to look at it like this too. We're still a relatively young country,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we've grown a lot in the past couple of hundred years, and we still have a long way to go,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. But I mean, we're leaps and bounds ahead of other places. I think
And in some ways, we're not.
in some ways we're not. Absolutely right.
So, I mean, I don't think that how old we are as a country really matters. I mean, in terms of
Hmm.
doing what's right, I don't think
Hmm.
it's a reason to say, yeah, okay, we've made progress, but we still have a long way to go. That doesn't really excuse the fact that there are people still without their rights. Not just gay people, other people as well in this country that don't have rights for a myriad of reasons. So to say that, oh, we're a young country, we have a long way to go, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we do. But when it comes to civil liberties, that's where I draw the line. When it comes to having equal rights under the law, which is in our fucking Constitution, excuse my French, what's in our
Hmm.
Constitution, it is guaranteed for each person in this country, not just
Hmm.
those of us who consider ourselves to be, um, deserving of it or whatever.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I just, as usual, don't agree with you. So,
And that's fine. That's why I'm enjoying this conversation. And I I'm going to listen to your show more often. I mean, this is the first time I've come across it tonight. And on this particular show, you just usually play music. Did I mess it up?
oh no, not at all. No, we take calls on the show usually as well. It's just that tonight I was just playing music because I was out of things to talk about. So you actually helped me out.
Oh, well, good.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
You don't hate me, do you?
No, I don't hate it. I don't. Well, there are people I definitely hate. Yes, but no, I don't hate you. No, I
Uh
just don't
huh.
agree with you.
But and I'm a work in progress. I'm not saying that I would never change my mind or change my way of thinking.
Let me ask you a question. What would it
Oh,
take for you
great.
to
Another
change your
question.
mind?
What would it? I don't know.
Well, when you make a decision about anything in life, what do? You weigh the pros and cons, you weigh the logic, you weigh, I mean, the facts, or what do you, how did you make a decision?
Typically, I'll sleep on it,
Hmm.
and then I'll expose myself to the situation for a while.
Okay.
And it just sometimes it takes a little time. I don't like to make decisions just on the spur of the moment.
Hmm. Well, no, I don't think you should. But
Hmm.
I was just curious if you needed facts, if you needed evidence that what I'm saying is true, or whatever. I'm happy to direct you in the right direction because,
No,
um,
I believe what you're saying is, I believe you can back it up. I don't have. I mean, you're an educated man, obviously. I just I don't know. I mean, I wasn't expecting a debate over what I said.
well, unfortunately, with me, it's typical that that's what you end up with. Sorry.
And that's fine. I mean, you've definitely got some balls on you,
Yeah.
and that's good. And it surprises me, you being the way you are, because you're not afraid to say what's on your mind.
No.
That you left Blog Talk.
Hmm.
I
Well,
mean,
no, I had to leave Blog Talk Radio because it was unfortunately. Oh, the other reason I left Blog Talk Radio, if you want to know, is because I unfortunately even had told the powers that be at Blog Talk Radio that not only had I been constantly harassed by particular people, but also been threatened. People had threatened my life. They called my show and said, "I'm going to come on your house and slit your throat." Done nothing
wow.
about it. And not just myself, but many other people on there have been harassed for various reasons. So they do nothing about it, ever. And so I didn't really want to give my money anymore to them, especially since they are a right-wing, conservative, Republican-owned entity. So that was part of my decision as well. And Spreaker may well as be as well, I mean, but I don't know. But I definitely knew that it was time for me to leave because I didn't have any respect anymore for them or the platform. So
Gotcha.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, I had to leave because there was no other choice left for me. I mean, I could stay, but I just got tired of fighting with idiots. Honestly,
Sure.
I mean, honestly, this is one of the first intellectual conversations I've had on my show with someone who I didn't know already. I mean, who
Hmm.
called in just randomly because typically
Hmm.
I'll have people call in and they'll just call me names and they'll call,
Wow.
they're trolling as it's called. So
Is that what you were expecting when I called?
no, I wasn't expecting it. I didn't really expect anything.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
I'm always prepared for whatever. I'm just saying that I was not something I typically would have experienced on BTR, and so I got tired of the nonsense, and so that's why I left. So,
Hmm. You'll probably run into this, some of the nonsense here as well.
oh, I'm sure I
Um,
will. It's part of life.
yeah, and well, I mean, with your show too, you're going to have people come in and say something,
Of course,
for sure.
it's
But
not.
I got your back. I got
Yeah,
your back.
yeah, and it's
I
not
got your
that.
back.
It's not.
I'm
Thank you.
I'm here.
It's not that I don't. I can handle it. I can handle it. It's just that
Right.
I'm tired of dealing with it.
Right.
Constantly. When it's something's
Sure.
incessant, no matter what it is, you get tired of it. So I'm just tired of dealing with it. So even if I
So I
have it
like
on
you.
the
I like you
show,
because if I say something that you don't agree with, or if I say something that's wrong, you just say, "Chris, stop being stupid."
yeah, pretty
Right.
much, yeah, yeah. I may not put it that nicely normally, but because it's the first time I talk to you, I'm trying to
Sure.
be respectful. So I'm just
Right.
kidding.
Right. I am older than you, so you have to respect me a little bit, right? Or do you?
No, not at all. No.
No. No.
Oh my gosh, George Bush. Hello, I don't respect him at all. He lives 3 miles from me. He's a moron. Anyway,
Does he really?
yeah, he really does. Yeah,
Have you ever
yeah.
went? Have you ever egged his house?
No, of course not. I couldn't
No.
if I
Oh,
wanted to. It's behind a
gotcha.
gate, so.
Right. Right.
Uh, no, but when they came back from the White House, there would be signs everywhere. Welcome home, George and Laura. Welcome home. And I'm like, oh my god, I was sick for like 6 months. But anyway, and ironically, my ninth cousin is Laura Bush. She's my ninth cousin. I don't know
She's
her.
you're related to
Yeah,
her?
I'm related to her. But yeah, yeah.
Do they ever invite you over for Thanksgiving or
No,
anything like that?
she's my
No.
ninth cousin. Do you know how far removed
You
that
should
is?
write. You should write her. Or you should call her.
I don't think so. I have no interest in it. But we didn't
Tell
go
them
to
you
the
want to
same
come out. You want to
school.
come over for Christmas dinner.
Yeah, no thanks. No thanks. That would be an interesting conversation, that's for sure. But anyway.
See, 5 by 5 thinks I'm a stand-up guy.
Yeah, I agree so far. So far, so
Okay.
good. So far, so good.
So you okay now? Okay, you've been married now for how long did you say? 3 years?
We've been married for 4 years, 19, 11, 12.
For
Yeah, 4 years. But well, we got married in 2009. So yeah, 2009, and we've been together for 7 years. So
wow. Now, are there any plans for children? Are you going to adopt, or what do you
yeah,
think?
there are. Right now, we're in the middle of remodeling our house, and after this is complete, which will be completed by the time I'm 40, which is 2 years from now,
Oh, you're
then
going to be over the hill.
yeah, then we're going to. That's the next thing we're doing. We just want to make sure we get
Hmm.
that done before we have a kid in the house. So yeah, that's the plan, and we're probably going to do adoption only because the cost of insemination is so cost prohibitive. I mean, it's like $100,000 per child.
Holy cow!
Yeah, I mean, after all the lawyers and the insemination and all of the other stuff, in vitro and everything. So we're probably going to adopt, and there's plenty of kids that need homes, so we'll probably adopt. Yeah,
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's good.
yeah,
That's good.
yeah. It's something
I
we
could I could be I could be Uncle Chris.
possibly. Yeah. Where do you live? You live in California. Where do you live?
No, I live in Tennessee. I live just north of
Oh,
Nashville.
that makes sense. Okay.
I'm in the Bible Belt.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, that makes
I was
sense.
I was raised Southern Baptist.
Yes. Well, so was I. Believe it or not, so was I.
No, you were. There were no gay Southern Baptists. Come on.
I was raised Southern Baptist. Yes, I was. Absolutely. My grandmother was
So
Southern
we
Baptist.
sang the same hymns and everything.
Oh yeah, my grandmother taught me how to play the piano when I was playing. There was Amazing Grace and all that crap. Anyway, but so yeah, she taught me to play all that stuff.
Uh huh.
Organ. Yeah, I know about Baptists. Trust me. I mean, I was raised in the church to that degree, but I never ever believed any of it, even when I was a kid, which is weird, I know, but I was 8 years old
Hmm.
and being told this is the way it is, blah blah blah, and I remember thinking, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. I mean, not literally that
Hmm.
word, but just thinking it wasn't real. It was something was didn't ring true to me in my heart. I didn't feel real, and so as I grew older, I just kind of had a feeling of, I don't believe any of this shit. And so I studied other religions. I studied Buddhism. I studied Judaism. I studied the Kabbalah. I studied, a lot of different religions, and they all just to me are complete nonsense. So that's
Hmm.
why I'm not religious at all. I am not an
Now, are you?
atheist.
That was my question. I was going to ask if you were an atheist.
I'm not an atheist, but I'm certainly not religious. So you can be spiritual and not be religious, and that would be me. So.
Sure. Well, I mean, what do you? I mean, do you meditate, or what do you believe? Like, what do you do when you have your quiet times and you're thinking about your spiritual
What do I
self?
believe?
Yeah.
Well, I don't believe God is something that is someone who's sitting up on a throne with a long beard and has angels flying around him and directs what happens in our life. I don't. I
That
don't
would be
believe
cool.
that. Yeah, that would be
Hmm.
interesting. But I don't believe that. What I do believe, I guess, is that we are. It's very kind of Zen Buddhist, I guess, along those lines. But I think we're here. I believe in reincarnation. I believe that we come back. I don't believe that we have one lifetime here, and I believe
Hmm.
that we actually are here to learn lessons. I believe that we are here to grow and evolve spiritually. I do believe that we had more than one lifetime, as I said. So
Hmm.
essentially, that's what I believe. I mean, there's a lot more to it, but that's the gist.
You may come back as a right wing Republican.
No, I've already been that. I'm sure. Actually, I
So you
mean,
learn from your mistakes.
well, I actually, I'm sure you don't believe in this. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure you don't believe in this. But I'm sure you probably don't believe in reincarnation. But I've had past life regression before, and it came out of my mouth, not the person doing it. It was recorded and everything. And I was apparently, which makes sense, according to this regression, a Nazi in my last lifetime. Uh,
Oh wow.
so if I had been a Nazi and pretty much the opposite of everything I believe now, and as someone who was very under the thumb and actually was under a lot of control, and now I'm somebody who's very free spirited, very accepting, open, and hates being told what to do by anyone. It
Hmm.
makes sense to me. But yeah, I mean, when I was told that, I was like literally, I mean, I was listening and everything, crying, and because it was a visceral response I had. It wasn't just like somebody's telling me a story. I literally
Hmm.
had this. I broke down crying and having this crazy, crazy response. So, yeah, so I don't know if it's true or not. But my point is that I think I've already had my Republican lifetime. It was called Nazi.
Yeah, that's not true.
Anyway.
Oh my goodness. So I mean, what about when the holidays roll around?